With us today, sitting in by special agreement of the chairman and ranking member of the Small Business Committee, my friend and colleague from Iowa, Congressman Dave Loebsack, who represents the 2nd District of Iowa, which experienced the worst of the flooding. And at this time, I would recognize him for an opening statement.
Thank you. Would like to thank Chairman Braley and Ranking Member Davis for inviting me to join the Small Business Subcommittee on Contracting and Technology for this very important meeting. I have never been on this committee, obviously. I serve on 2 other committees, but it's my pleasure to be here, and to be here, obviously, as well with Ms. Carranza, whom I last saw in the district a number of months ago now. Also, if I may take a point of personal privilege, I want to introduce a couple of other folks from the audience. Is that okay, Mr. Chairman? Thank you. First of all, my wife Terry is here, sitting in the back, and she has quite a stake in this as well, since she also lives in the 2nd District of Iowa. And second, Chuck Peters is here. He's the president and CEO of the Cedar Rapids Gazette, the largest newspaper in my congressional district. But that's a big reason why he's important. But he's also very important because he's playing an incredibly active role in the reconstruction, the redevelopment of the 2nd District of Iowa, in particular Cedar Rapids and the Iowa City area, that whole corridor. And he's been a leader in the efforts to take a more regional approach to the recovery efforts in the area. So I'm really happy that Chuck is able to sit in today on this meeting. I'd also like to thank all the witnesses who've traveled from Iowa to inform us of their experience in coping with the disasters that hit Iowa and 9 other Midwestern states this year. I know that you each have faced incredible hardship over the past few months, and your willingness to travel to Washington, even as you attempt to clean up, rebuild, and reopen, is a demonstration of Iowans' resiliency and tenacity of spirit. Your testimony today will help to assure that Congress provides proper support and assistance to small businesses in Iowa in all affected areas, all areas affected by disasters, past, present, and future. My district, as Congressman Braley mentioned, was particularly hard hit by the floods of June of 2008. Over 1,300 businesses in Cedar Rapids alone were damaged by the floods, and the damage estimates for the downtown businesses topped $366 million. We will hear from a witness from Cedar Rapids today, Mr. Mike Monahan, president of the Blue Strawberry Coffee Company. Mr. Monahan, welcome. I know you're behind that pillar somewhere. The impact of the floods on Cedar Rapids' economy is yet to be determined. But as the 2nd largest city in Iowa, the revenue loss for the first year of recovery alone will exceed $600 million. Meanwhile, small rural cities in my district experienced complete devastation of their local economies. The city of Palo, with a population under 1,000, lost not only every one of its businesses, but also all but 2 of its homes. The city estimates that its business district saw $1.75 million in damage. This in a city that has already spent its entire budget on flood recovery and is currently operating in a deficit. Sadly, stories such as these are all too common in the Midwestern areas affected by the severe storms, tornadoes, and flooding in this past year. Yet the Small Business Administration has disbursed only $16 million out of the $225 million in loans that have been approved for Iowa. In other words, only 53% of loans approved by the SBA have been closed since their approval, and only 26% have been fully disbursed to disaster victims. Furthermore, in an apparent response to an Office of Management and Budget directive, SBA has dramatically increased the disbursement of high-interest loans in the place of the traditional low-interest rate disaster loans. These loans are often above market value and are all but useless to businesses and homeowners who are able to get better deals at their local banks. What is deeply troubling to me is that only 2% of the loans distributed after Hurricane Katrina were high interest. In Iowa, apparently in compliance with the OMB directive, they make up 30% of SBA loans. Deputy Administrator Carranza, it is my hope that you'll be able to provide some explanation for the delay in disbursement of funding and the 15-fold increase in high interest rate loans, and more importantly, I hope you will provide information regarding SBA's plans to speed up the disbursement process and to provide Iowans with loans that will help them to recover and rebuild. Small businesses, as we know, are the heart and soul of the Iowa economy. in Iowa in 2006. Iowa had some 258,000 small businesses that employed about 650,000 people. That's out of a population of 3 million. Clearly, the recovery of the small businesses impacted by this year's disasters is a crucial component of the recovery of Iowa's economy. Again, I'd like to thank Chairman Braley for holding this important hearing, and I look forward to hearing from the witnesses and from Deputy